Well, I have some interesting news about the Twitter user Don_Shano. Some of you might know him from Twitter. Some of you might know him for shit posting.
Look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. Look what you just made me do.
I'm here to tell you that Don Shano is actually Shane Van Dyke, age 38, a married man living in McKinney, Texas, and I'm about to prove it to you. The first thing I did was just do some searching around for how the name was being used, and I came across an LLC registered in Wyoming called the Don Shano Group LLC. That's a good lead. So knowing that, I went to the Wyoming Secretary of State's site, pulled up the corporation documents, and found there was two entities that were linked to the Don Shano Group LLC. There was an individual named Shane Van Dyke, and there was a different LLC named Ticket Syndicate LLC. So I did a search on Ticket Syndicate, and it took me to a page showing it had a mailing address for Albuquerque, New Mexico. This is very typical of what people do when they want to set up shell companies to kind of hide their identity. You guys know about PPP loans, right? Millions of companies took them, including Ticket Syndicate LLC. They actually took two. They took one in April for $4,167, and they took another one for the same amount in January 2021. The January PPP loan, that actually links to the Albuquerque address, so that's not super helpful. But that first loan had an address that was a private residence, and we looked it up. Guess who owned it? A certain Mr. Shane Van Dyke and his wife. Okay, so now we know that this LLC was created in the name of this well-known ticket personality on Twitter, right? That LLC is connected to a company called Ticket Syndicate LLC, and the person running that is apparently this guy named Shane Van Dyke out of McKinney, Texas. How do we draw a link between Ticket Syndicate and the Don Shano Twitter account? We wait for him to make a mistake, and he did. So on April 11th, trying to prove some point about refunds that is totally lost on me, Don Shano shared this screen grab of an email he got from StubHub customer service. Now you can see he tried to digitally white out his send address and the time, but he didn't do a great job, and so it was very simple to grab the image from Twitter, to download it onto my desktop, to put it through the preview program that comes with every Mac, and to just adjust the levels so that we could see what was underneath his attempt to cover up the to field. And we see that address is ticketsyndicate@gmail.com. Okay, so that's solid right there. I mean, that's unquestionable proof in my mind that these LLCs, this person Don Shano, are linked to this Twitter account. Okay, I did a few more, attempts at gathering additional evidence, and I found some interesting stuff. I ran the Twitter profile through a few of these background check programs that are able to see the name you signed up with. I ran it through People, I ran it through Been Verified, and I ran it through InfoTracer, and you can see what happens here. It comes back as Shane Van Dyke. Okay, the second thing I did was I noticed that one thing Don posts was pictures of his dog. And what I was able to do was take the pictures of his dogs and take pictures from different real estate sites that had listed photos of his house, compare them, and find, similarities between the photos that are pretty compelling. What else can we find? Well, in Texas, voter records are public, and so if you go to, the Texas Secretary of State, you can find this person's voter registration, and I did, and that revealed to me four things: their political party, the number of times they voted, the first time they voted, and their date of birth. I don't care about the first three. The date of birth, though, I'm going to need that for my next search. And my next search is the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and what I found there was, I want to say surprising, but it's not. I'm not surprised at all. So his charges kind of consist of two main areas. There's marijuana possession charges that, of course, I mean, I personally don't think are very serious. Then there are some serious credit card fraud charges, and it looks like he repeatedly got in trouble for credit card fraud over a long stretch of time, lasting all the way up to 2009. And he did a jail term for it, and spent over a year behind bars. He even had to go into a halfway house when he exited the prison system, and that's how we found this lovely photo of Shane. This is honestly the only photo I could find of him.
When you expect nothing and you get everything, that's destiny.
I think he's past all of this stuff. Yeah, of course I do. I really believe it. But let's be clear on one thing, okay? He's not using anonymity to protect his insider status, right? He is using anonymity to conceal his past crimes, right? And he's using anonymity as a weapon because he wants to attack people, and he does, but he uses his anonymity to shield himself from any kind of counter or any kind of scrutiny, and that's wrong. If you're going to go attack people and you're going to dox them and you're going to harass them, encourage your followers to harass them, you should not hide behind a anonymous account, because that's super weak, okay? And you think you're not cancelable, and you think you aren't discoverable, you think no one's going to find out who you are? Well, guess what? I just did.
Hold up.
Tough guy part of the lecture concluded. I promise. I'm not using that person. I'm just going to say this, dude. You're talented. I like your writing. You got people following you on Twitter. They want to hear what you have to say. So let them know who you are. Let that Shane Van Dyke flag fly. And do some good for the world, bro. I bet you can do it. I bet that's what you want to do, too. All right, peace out, everybody. See ya.